Oi, oi, all right, how's it going? I'm Grant, you're you. This is Doodle Review, and it's the return of the Sunday Jazz Club, an ongoing series when on a Sunday, although you are free to exercise complete discretion as to what day of the week you actually watch this, but on a Sunday, I take a look at an album from somewhere in the vast universe that is jazz music. Like everything on my channel, this whole thing is that I'm a lover, not an expert, right? So I love jazz music, but probably more than any other genre, my knowledge is amateur at best. These videos are often me trying new artists and new styles for the first time and giving you the best account I possibly can of how the music makes me feel, what I like, what I don't, and maybe setting you up to try it out for yourself. Today we're looking at an album by Antoine Berjeaut called Chromesthesia, and I was turned on to this by a friend when we kind of stumbled into a conversation about jazz and realised we both appreciated the genre, and after that he kind of hit me with a load of recommendations, with this one being the first. Antoine Berjeaut is a French composer, trumpeter and electronic artist. He performs and releases music independently and also as part of wider collectives. Some of the artists he's collaborated with in the past include Doodle Review favourite like Micaiah McCraven, as well as the Supernatural Orchestra, and even pop crossover artists like Aloe Black. Despite challenging myself to listen to quite a broad range of jazz music, for some reason when I know I'm going into a jazz album, subconsciously I think I still just kind of assume I'm going to get a traditional quartet kind of smooth jazz or bop sound. So even though I knew nothing of Berjeaut before going into this record, and therefore it should have been, a complete blank canvas, I still found myself surprised with what I found. Which is an album that certainly does display some of those traditional elements of jazz, smooth horns and impressionistic drum and piano performances, but also synthesized soundscapes and cinematic guitars that add some real ethereal elements to the record. The opening track, PPDQ, is one of my favourites, a perfect representation of the warm, organic tones of the live instrumental aspect of this album. It's built around a really strong central horn melody, which takes the listener on its own self-contained journey before inviting some kind of darker, almost ominous arpeggiated guitar chords and agile rolling drums. The guitars, and specifically their tones, played I believe by Saba Palatwai, are one of my favourite aspects of the entire record, but you hear all of the things that work right here in this first track, initially following Berjeaut's horn melody note for note but in no way invasive, breaking then into almost sinister chords, and after that into some really cool kind of janky sounding chukka chukka strums to embellish the shifting mood as the song progresses. It's after this point the album introduces more of those flashes of synthesizers and electronic components, which often adds something cool but occasionally creates a tension that I don't always enjoy. I think this tension is almost the point. One track is literally called Horns and Battle. To me it couldn't be more aptly named because there are some really cool experimental beats used with a central kind of chord progression and fantastic horns, but then these synths come in and I suppose, as the title suggests, they kind of battle with the organic elements, and to my ears, while they win in the sense of overpowering the other instruments, they absolutely lose in terms of holding my enjoyment. There's just something really intrusive about the tones and their volume, almost like when you're deep in conversation with someone and then someone else is trying to interrupt you and trying to steal your attention. Elsewhere, I have to say the electronic fusions do work. Red Lines has some fun arpeggiated buzzy synths that, coupled with the beat, almost remind me of a neo-funk or neo-soul type vibe, and Walk uses these old school video game textures to drop into a really smooth jazz track. Mind's Eyes comes around in the middle of the record though, and sounding reminiscent of that opener PPDQ, almost reminds you that the album might actually be at its best when it's playing it straight. This one's got it all. The guitars, a syncopated scale that they keep coming back to, which resets the progression or moves it into another section, and it adds some wonderful heavily reverb dreamlike guitar tones to the mix as well. More kind of annoying kid brother synth tones do pop up from time to time across the final phase of the album, but don't detract in a way that's as annoying as the prior examples I've mentioned. And honestly, as an experience, this combination of elements works great enough that this time it doesn't kind of overly impact my impression of the whole album, especially as there are some absolutely killer tunes like PPDQ, walk, and mind's eyes. I'm going to hit this one with a 7.5 and knock it on the head. That's what I think though. What do you reckon? Hit me with your thoughts in the comments below. Check out some related videos linked in the description. And if you're interested enough to do all that, then you may as well subscribe. Subscribe, share some thoughts, show some love, or just house some abuse. And I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, mate. Bye.